Dune woke after what he thought was a nightmare. The cool air of the forest parted his fur, sending a chill down his spine as he tried to figure out where he was. He squinted his eyes, trying to make out the shapes in the surrounding darkness. He heard distant rustling and perked his ears, relying on sound rather than sight. Rust could smell the cat from miles away, as he stalked closer, every paw set carefully as he emerged from the foliage. Imposing, and much larger than the cat, his eyes were locked onto it. The kit's ears flattened before making eye contact with the animal, finding familiarity in its gaze. He walked up, seeking safety from the forest. A low snarl emerged from his throat as the kit padded up to him. His expression faltered, as the tiny, fluffy thing got way closer than any creature had ever dared willingly. The kit leaned against the large animal's front legs as a kitten would to its mother. He was hungry and confused. Startled, Rust lifted his paw away from the kit, not quite confused by this behavior. The growl got louder as he bared his teeth at the kit by his paws. Dune hopped up onto his paws, tail flicking as he heard the strange noise. He tried to mimic it, growling deeply to create a sound that only sounded like a gentle purr. As the tiny kitten began growl purring at him, he felt lost, utterly lost by this. Maybe it was best to just walk away. Yeah. He slowly turned to back away from the strange cat. Dune let out a squeak, quickly stumbling onto tiny paws to chase the fox. As the fluffball was following him, he let out a huffed sigh, looking down at it. He wasn't sure how to shake it. Sure, he could break into a full sprint, but he somehow felt pity for the kit. He looked up at the fox with wide, wondrous eyes. He batted at the fox's large paws, beckoning for food. Staring at it with disbelief, he leaned down, opening his jaws at a last-ditch effort to scare it away. But when the kit refused to move, he simply picked it up in his jaws to carry to his den. The kit let out tiny squeaks as he bounced in the fox's maw that held him. He placed the kit down in the grass nest, exhaling deeply through his nostrils before hoping he could go hunt without this thing chasing after him. Content, Dune stood and looked down at the makeshift nest. He began to knead at it, only laying down once he felt it was in proper shape. Satisfied, Rust quickly fled from his own den, hoping to find something to eat. Maybe it would be gone by the time he came back, and the problem would solve itself. Yeah, as if. After quite the detour to the river, Rust had finally managed to catch something edible. Dune heard the paw steps echo under him and lifted his head. His eyes widened at the fox, and then the fish. He dropped the trout that was the size of the kit with a twitch of his tail. It seemed he was stuck with this kit now. He slipped down and ate the fish quickly, as fast as a cat his size could. He stepped away with a wobble once full, looking up expectantly at the fox to finish it. He watched the kit eat its share, before he crouched down and finished the half-demolished fish. Dune winked at him and then laid down next to the massive ball of red fur. Rust rested his head down, closing his eyes and relaxing. He had been hunting all night. Dune rested his head, nuzzling into the fox's fur and easily falling back into another nap. After a while, he woke up, looking at the still sleeping fox. He stepped over him, nearly tripping as he padded into the clearing. He stretched, scraping his claws against the dense rock. When he awoke, the kit wasn't next to him anymore. Oh good, the problem solved itself. Nope. The moment Rust opened his eyes, he could see the fluff ball a couple of tail lengths in front of him. Dune let out a welcoming squeak. Was that a squeak? Tawny padded up the hill and froze. The second he could hear the cats, he grabbed the kit and sprinted away from the patrol. Dune wriggled uncomfortably, letting out a defiant mewl. He finally let go of the kit, trying to calm his breathing. He didn't have these scars for nothing. His rivalry with the clan cats had gone for many moons. Dune was upset by the way the fox had swept him up and ran so suddenly. He huffed, pouting. He turned towards it and flicked his tail. Why did this thing look so ungrateful? Oh, right. This cat would probably not be a threat to it. Dune tapped his tail angrily against the dirt before turning away, instantly distracted by a butterfly. He reared up on his hind legs and batted at the butterfly that narrowly escaped his soft paws. He gave one strong swipe up, sending him falling backwards onto his back. He rolled in the dirt a little before straightening himself. He watched the kit play, almost amused. He stood and shook the dirt from his pelt, specks of dirt landing on the fox. He huffed a bit, his ears flicking as a speck of dirt hit them. Dune stuck out his tongue at the large beast. It was almost magical to him how this tiny, easily edible kit just trusted him like this. He could eat it right now if he wanted. Just somehow he wasn't compelled to do that at all. Dune ran forward, lunging himself at the fox in an attempt to tackle him, but ended up just biting his tail. Russ just looked at the kit, perplexed, before getting the idea of what this was. Dramatically, he fell over onto his side. Dune let out a squeal, rushing over to the fox's head and concerned that he'd killed him. Opening one eye, he stuck his tongue out at the kit, mimicking what it had done before. He wrinkled his nose at him before yawning, growing tired. Turning back upright, he hoped the rocks would be safe again now. Standing and stretching, he went to pick up the kit to bring it home. Dune nuzzled into the grass nest, falling asleep quickly. The moons had flown by faster than ever, and Rust felt like the kit, now more cat than kit, had grown every day, faster than he could keep up with watching. He had started to be fond of the company. Dune raised his head groggily, whiskers twitching as he blinked the sleep from his eyes. He pushed his nose into Dune's neck fur, a silent greeting he had started to do moons ago, which had become almost like a morning ritual. Dune let out a murp, giving the fox's muzzle a good morning lick before standing. "I'm out to hunt," he said simply, nudging Rust as he padded away. Dune padded forward in the everlasting search for prey. He hadn't wandered this far away before, but so far he hadn't found anything worth catching. He nearly slipped at the edge of the ravine, looking down in awe at the large hollow. His whiskers twitched as he saw cats in the distance. He squinted. He tilted his head to the side. The cats just walked away. Usually Rust would force Dune to run from them. He decided not to take the chance, though, and left while they returned away. He dipped his head. "I saw more cats today," he meowed. He scratched at his neck fur with a hind leg, similar to a dog. He stopped scratching, shaking out his fur. He'd seen cats before, but never that close. He didn't realize how similar they were to himself. In his own mind, he was the same as the fox sitting in front of him, but something always felt a little odd. He gave a purr, flicking his tail. Why did the cats never leave? It's not like we're going anywhere. He huffed, his ear twitching as he looked back at Dune with a blank expression. He couldn't really respond, nor did he really have the answer to that. "It's dumb if you ask me." He lifted his head with misplaced pride and a feeling of power. He'd been protected by a fox for so long he felt invincible. Rolling his eyes, Rust lay down, just now noticing the cat hadn't brought any food back from their outing. Odd, but not too strange to have Rust really question it. His whiskers twitched as his own thoughts rang in his head. Food. I forgot. He stood. I'll be back. Dune continued the hunt, walking around the territory with a sigh. Another one, Dune thought. But he wouldn't run anymore. No. He'd be strong like Rust. Dune lunged out, arcing his back and snarling ferociously at the Tom. Get out! Huh? He stared at the little cat before him. He bared his teeth, snapping at him like a fox. His fur stood, risen along his back as he growled. This is ThunderClan territory. Dune's ears perked. Thunder... what? His entire demeanor shifted as the words fell on his ears. You can speak? His demeanor shifted at the Tom's strange question. Of course we can. He blinked. You... It was like the world he knew in his head just broke open. Cats can talk to me? He blinked wide eyes. No! You can't! That's why He stammered. That's why my dad doesn't talk to me! Smokemane was confused at the young cat's words. Why wouldn't your dad speak to you? He can't! He squeaked. And you can't either! Nope! He bristled. What's a ThunderClan? Well, I'm clearly speaking to you right now, aren't I? He paused. The young cat's question caught him off guard. You seriously haven't heard of ThunderClan? No? He squinted again. Is that what you cats are called? He shifted to a seated position, not seeing the cat as much of a threat. His nose wrinkled. This cat's very existence was threatening his own. At least, the existence that he knew. Every sense of normalcy had just been thrown out. He winced as the rain battered his pelt. Never mind, actually, He sniffed. I don't want to know. He stood. What exactly is a cat like you doing in our territory? He exclaimed, almost forgetting that this cat was an intruder. A cat! He spat, almost like an insult. Whatever! He continued his tantrum of confusion. Rust must have been looking for him by now. He let out a confused hiss and patted away. He flicked his tail as a gesture of noticing Dune's arrival. He looked at the ground, still pouty. Turning to face him, Rust nudged Dune with his snout. He nearly toppled over. The difference in size became much more apparent to him. It was upsetting. Did you know I can talk to cats? He didn't expect this question. He couldn't explain it to Dune how he wished he could. A small sound, almost like a whimper, came from Rust. Dune looked up at him, tears welling in his eyes. Am I not like you? What? He choked on his words. What am I? From the day he found the little fluff ball to now, he never imagined to feel this way. The detachment he felt to this cat. Slowly, Rust shook his head at the first question. However, he had no answer to the second. He stayed staring up at him, even if Rust had already looked away. You lied to me, he mumbled, but he knew it wasn't true. Nobody had deceived him but himself, feeling like he belonged. Rust didn't know what to do. He never thought that it would become an issue that he essentially adopted this kit. Dune would have died if not for him, right? Rust attempted to place his snout on Dune's head. He felt Rust shift and leaned over, pushing his full weight into the fox's thick fur. At least, he felt like he belonged here, even if things told him he didn't. He eventually pulled away, stifling a sniffle as he padded towards the den. He kneaded the grassy nest before laying. He looked down at the dirt, outstretching a paw and staring at it. What was he? He swallowed his doubt and rested his head with a sigh. This was a worry for tomorrow. He curled around the small cat, feeling heaviness in his chest. Worry, fear, all kinds of conflicting emotions he hadn't felt before he met the cat. Was Dune going to leave? Why did that bother him so much? Dune was awoken by the sudden downpour that seeped its way into the den. He gave Rust a lick on the shoulder, stepping over him in search of something. He padded off to find the so-called Thunder Clan. Thankfully, the rain would mask his scent. He approached the hollow. This one was similar to the one he'd almost fallen into, but this one was much larger and steeper. It smelt of many cats, even through the harsh rain. This must be the Thunder Clan. He blinked rain from his eyes as he spotted a black and white cat in the clearing. He didn't see many cats. Curious, he slipped into the tunnel that led inside. Still no sign of more than just one cat. Were they hiding from the rain? He tensed as the cats approached. She was too excited and missed the tiny cat. He noticed the cat he'd spoken to. "Hey!" he yowled, demanding. She glanced up. "Whoa!" She pinned her ears back, fur fluffing up. "Wait, I recognize you." Thoughts to the night before came back to his head. She blinked. Is this one of their apprentices? No, didn't smell like that. Her ears perked forwards. Recognize? "I need you to answer something," he said in a plea. "This is the loner I told you about yesterday," he said to the leader. Aw, sweet cat. She turned about, looking at the other two. Though this was an outsider, her mind blanked on what to say. What? His ears perked up, waiting for the small cat's question. This wasn't an invasion. Her ears shifted. Subconsciously, she unsheathed her claws. "You said they looked like a young warrior." "They are apprentice-aged," she meowed. She let the mouse down, having a stuffed maw wouldn't help with speaking. "Am I one of you?" he croaked. "A cat? A thunder clanner?" His voice was riddled with confusion. Juniper Snow sat down. This was a question for Smokemane. But she was the leader. "You're a cat, but I don't recognize you as ThunderClan. Not yet." "Well, you're certainly a cat," Tawny chuckled, looking at the others with a smile, but it vanished quickly. She was trying to remain serious. He looked for guidance in the one cat he recognized. "Then what is—" He tensed. He trailed off again. "Was he raised by another animal?" The tiny feline was looking at Smoke, so Tawny just quietly picked up her bird and scooted back. "A cat. Yes, you are. Whether you are of ThunderClan origin, that I do not know," he answered the young cat's plea. The fur on his back rose, not out in anger towards them, but at himself for being so conflicted. He didn't like the way these cats looked at him, like something to be studied. He sniffled. A sense of longing washed over him. This wasn't home. "What made you come all the way back into our territory and stumble your way into our camp?" he asked the young feline. "Nothing. He shook his head. "Nothing. Sorry." He bounded off. He padded up to the cluster of rocks, ready to embrace Rust, but he wasn't there. He sniffed. Maybe he was hunting? No, his scent was too stale. He didn't leave recently. He'd been gone for quite some time. Did I upset him? Dune began to panic. Was he worried Dune would leave, so he made the hard choice to leave instead? He felt a lump in his throat. No, that wasn't his choice to make. It wasn't Dune's either. Nothing needed to change. He didn't want it to. Not like this. "I'm home," he croaked to an empty cave. Dune took in a shaky breath, then padded into the dreadful den. He began to knead the grass into a good shape, holding back his grief. He'd come back, surely. Somebody would. Right? he wouldn't be alone forever. Right?